Is it still going up?
349.
Wow. That shit was
That was
just
crazy though.
That shit was creepy. That shit was just like at 360, 370.
That was like Bitcoin, dude.
Yeah. Wow. So you wasn't there in the last 10 minutes. You just got fucked.
Oh no, it's going up again. Another 10 cents.
So you wasn't there in the last 10 minutes. You just got fucked.
Oh no, it's going up again.
10 minutes. Wow. That shit was creepy. That shit was just like at 360, 370.
That was like Bitcoin, dude.
Yeah. Wow. So you wasn't there in the... Hey, Shalom, Akim, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai Bashim, Rakakodash. Double honors unto the elders, the apostles, the great millstone. Peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful elect. Real quick, it's the Akim Mahaloya coming back with another quick lesson. What you witnessed was me today at work. I was with a coworker, man. It's fucking Edomite devil. And of course, you heard him in the background. Sounding real stupid, but nonetheless, the point that stood out was that amid this war in Ukraine, by Russia invading Ukraine, y'all noticed that the gas prices went up dramatically. Okay, the gas went up, I want to say about like 20, 30%, maybe 40%. Because as we were driving, basically, as you can see in the video in a roundabout way, basically they was raising prices, man. Okay, diesel went up, regular unleaded fuel, premium went up, etc. Okay, why? Because, hey, that's because them sanctions that's being put on Russia. But see, America is stupid because they don't understand that the sanctions you putting on Russia, hey, they could put or slap sanctions back on you. Because honestly, they don't really need you, man. Okay, because you got this whole thing right now with the whole Ukrainian conflict with Biden pretty much talking about, well, we're going to put more sanctions on Russia. Nah, nigga, why don't you just go over there and fight? You know, which is going to lead it to economic, pretty much this whole Ukraine situation could be set up to bring in an MOTB, because we understand before this war goes global and nuclear, other players have to become involved. Okay, and also the MOTB have to be implemented before World War III can be officially a nuclear war. Okay, so right now you're seeing the stages of Ezekiel 38 being set up. Okay, so all these nations that's being backed by their particular allies, eventually they're going to get involved with these conflicts, man, these little minor proxy wars, which is going to lead to more economic devastation. Because I saw a feed today when it says that the U.S. stock market collapsed by 45% today. Okay, so shit just skyrocketed, man, out the blue. Why? Because they're at war. And hey, we may see gas prices $4 next week, $5, $6 by the summer, just depending on how bad this conflict is, or if they don't so-called resolve it, which I don't really see them resolving anything anytime soon. Okay, I see that this shit is going to get worse, and through the spirit, things are going to go up, and that's going to cause the Russians to be even more pissed off because you're putting sanctions on them. Okay, and when you're putting sanctions on Russia, that's going to cause the shit in the rest of the global the supply chains to fully collapse, man. All right, so you see what the Lord is doing? It's beautiful, man. This place is on its way out of here. So, hey, man, we getting ready to see chaos in a little bit because, like I said, this is not going to be a nuclear war anytime soon, you know, unless the MOTB is mandated tomorrow. But I don't really see that happening in the next week future. But nonetheless, this prophecy is imminent. All right, because it says, how significant are the U.S. sanctions on Russia, man? All right, and it says U.S. President Joe Biden unleashed sweeping sanctions Thursday, responding to Russian President Vladimir Putin's attack on Ukraine that target Moscow's banking, technology, and aerospace sectors. Through the U.S. and Europe stopped short of several key steps to target Moscow and Putin himself. All right, so what he's doing, man, he's causing more problems, man. Okay, because like I said, man, if you put sanctions on the Russians, that's not going to do nothing but make them retaliate. Okay, because now they were talking about, I believe it was like if I'm not mistaken, I think it was today that I kind of came across. I didn't read it, but I came across a feed on how they're talking about Russia is getting ready to do a cyber attack on New York. So these little war games are going to continue to escalate until the fucking West is just in total blackout. All right. So, hey, man, your summer trips, man, your plans that you people got, you know, hey, man, who knows what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks to months? Who knows? But we do know eventually that Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is going to stir these other nations up, and this war will be a full-fledged conventional war followed by a nuclear war. All right, but before it becomes nuclear and global, hey, you're going to have other nations that's going to have to take the sides, like, because now the reason why Russia is invading Ukraine is because, for one thing, Ukraine or America is trying to bribe them to become part of the NATO. Okay, and Russia don't want a military presence on their border. They don't want NATO nowhere near them. And you can't blame them because, hey, Russia and them, within their own right, they could consider themselves to be sovereign, so to speak, outside of America's influence. Okay, because they don't want nothing to do with NATO. Okay, because for one thing, NATO, man, they cause conflict, they bring democracy, they stage attacks, and they're known for stealing resources. And Russia, they want to be self-contained on their own because they want to be the next ruling superpower, which technically they are the ruling class because they're Edomites. You see? But Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is going to turn this thing up, Lord's will, hopefully this year. Hopefully that this economy does collapse, because once the economy goes to shit and mass inflation kicks in, hey, you better believe that the MOTB is right around the corner. Okay? And this war, that's when all hell going to break loose, man, in the streets of America. So we getting close, brothers, man, all right? But it says, still a scale, the package crafted weeks of intensive technical and diplomatic negotiations. Like, who the fuck wants to negotiate? Putin like, look, man, we don't want y'all on our border, okay? Because once Ukraine becomes part of NATO, basically that's a military presence or NATO military presence that's building up on Russia's border. They not having that, okay? And that's going to cause China to get involved in it. So now you can see that China is pretty much in a backdrop. But if all hell, or if these other nations decide to take sides and intervene on behalf of Ukraine or on NATO's behalf, then you better believe that the Russians' allies are going to take suit to help the Russians out. Okay, so I believe what the Lord is doing, he's killing two birds with one stone. He's collapsing the economy, and he's getting these nations ready to pretty much choose their sides. All right, while this guy Biden is talking about sanctions, man, nobody give a damn about just sanctions, man. Okay, because like I said, you ain't gonna do nothing but fuck over your people in the West. Okay, so, hey, man, this shit finna get real, Lord's will. Anyway, says still the scale package. I read that. It says crafted over weeks of intensive technical and diplomatic negotiations marks the most significant deployment of economic penalties against the country with Russia's economic size and integration in global markets. It says the U.S. levied penalties across the industries, from asset freezes to the largest bank to debts, and equity restrictions on critical mining, transportation, and logistics firms. It says the package also included the largest scale effort to date to shut down access to critical technology for key Russian military and industrial sectors, which proves that Babylon the Great sits at the head of this fucking power seat, man, because if they're able to put sanctions on other nations that don't even have anything to do with them, how much more or how much less can they do, or how much more would you consider them to be in power? You see what I'm saying? So this shit is all kinds of crazy, man. It's like they say all kinds of wrong. But nonetheless, man, this look like it's really going down over there in the Ukraine. You know, and like I said, they don't want any influence of NATO. Russia don't want any influence of NATO on their borders. OK, and if you notice, Ukraine is west of Russia and what's farther west. OK, you got the UK. OK, you got fucking America, etc. So eventually, man, this shit is going to come over here to the West. It's just a matter of time, man, because like I said, when they continue to slap sanctions on these people, that's going to make them to retaliate even more. OK, and while your dollar is collapsing, that's the last thing that you Babylonians want to hear. All right. But nonetheless, through the spirit, this shit is turning up. All right. So this is the book of Revelation 11 and 14. It says here, the second war is past, and behold, the third war coming quickly. That third war is the Third World War. And technically, you can say we've been in World War III since the beginning of the Cold War. But, hey, you know, it's going to really intensify once the MOTB is the primary catalyst of these global markets, because now it's no coincidence that all the banks and all the countries are trying to go over into some type of digital currency, some digital dollar wallet type thing. OK, so everybody is already converting over to digital currency. So it's nothing for them to say, you know what, we need the MOTB. We need to make global infrastructures. We need to make them pretty much, how can I say it? Shit, man, I lost my train of thought. Slovakia. But nonetheless, man, these nations are getting ready to go digitized, man. Because once this dollar is done, then hey, it's pretty much a wrap, man. And that's when we can, start shouting for joy, Lord. We're chosen, because Yahweh Shai said, hey, when these things begin to happen, lift up your head because your redemption draweth nigh. All right. Matter of fact, let me get that real quick on Luke. All right. Because right now, what we're witnessing is rumors of wars. All right. Rumors of wars. So this is the book of Luke 21, and I'm going to start at verses. Let's start at 21, and I'm going to start at verses 28. It says, and when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. Why? Because we're looking for the signs, man. So, hey, brothers, it'd be wise to start studying, like looking at the banks, the markets. Like I said, the economy collapsed. Not the economy, but the stock market, I believe, plummeted to 45% today, man. You see what I'm saying? So, hey, that's a good thing to keep an eye on the stock market. Look at what's happening with these different banks. Look at the liquidation sales, man. All right. So we're right in the middle of a collapse. And the quicker this place collapses, the quicker the MOTB can be instituted. And it says, and he spake to them a parable. Behold, a fig tree and all the trees. And when they now shoot forth, ye see and know of your own selves that summer is nigh at hand. So likewise, when you see these things come to pass, know that ye, the kingdom of the Most High, is at hand. So, brother, we finna get the fuck out of here, man. Okay? We finna get out of here in due time. The Lord's will. Because now that they in a battle with with Ukraine, and America putting sanctions on them, that's going to build up bad blood between the Americans and the Russians, man. Which they're not really friendly to one another, but they tolerate one another. But overall, no, man. The Lord is setting them up to go to war with Babylon, man. China, Russia, Iran, Israel, okay, NATO, the EU. And somehow all America's allies are going to turn on them, So anyway, this was just a quick lesson, giving all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai, Bashim, Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders, the apostles, the great millstone. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. And with that, Shalom and a Baba Ball.
349.
Wow. That shit was
That was
just
crazy, though.
That shit was creepy. That shit was just like at 360, 370.
That was like Bitcoin, dude.
Yeah. Wow. So you wasn't there in the last 10 minutes. You just got fucked.
Oh, no, it's going up again. Another 10 cents.
That's crazy.